Welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL. Got the Chief here, Thursday preview before tonight's game, Richmond and Sydney. Interesting, Martin comes back in and Prestia, and Franklin and McCartan. That's Tom McCartan come in, Chief. But Sydney lost their last 9 at the MCG out of 10. So Richmond look a pretty good thing in this one, don't they?
Oh, gee, I'm loath to say a good thing the way the Tigers are a little bit up and down. They've both got important players coming back. What we do have, Diggo, is probably the last chance for both of these teams to keep their seasons alive. A loss in this one, and you probably can put a line through them if you haven't already done so. Look, you've got to go with the home team, I think, but I wouldn't be saying it's a done deal by any stretch.
Yeah, but 30% of this all scoring at Richmond's come through Dusty Martin. He comes back into the team. Under McQualter, he's up near the 35 disposals like we're used to with Dusty. That's a massive win.
Oh, it is. Absolutely it is. And that's why they're favourites in the game. But, I mean, getting Franklin back helps. I think it gives them structure. It gives them purpose going forward. And McCartan's a massive inclusion for them down back.
What about the next game? So you're going with Richmond on Richmond. Doggies and Collingwood. Interesting game, this one, because when you look at it, the Doggies in the final term haven't been great, and Collingwood have beaten their opposition in the final term by 200 points. Number one in the comp. So they're great finishers, let alone they're great starters as well. But the Doggies in this one, do you give them a chance to push Collingwood?
Got to give the Bulldogs a chance. They've got themselves in the 8, and they're trying to establish themselves up there. They probably harbour ambitions of sneaking into the top 4, because we certainly know that 4th spot is available if someone gets on a roll. But it's look, I find it impossible to go past Collingwood. Even though they've got a couple of players out, they'll certainly miss Myercheck, but they do get DeGoey back. So that's a pretty handy inclusion. I personally think it's very difficult to see the Bulldogs beating Collingwood.
And they play the uncontested game, we know. Jamara last week kicked 4 goals, but Collingwood, 385 metres game by hand this year, number 1. So once they get through, they cut you to ribbons. So are you expecting a blowout is what I'm trying to say?
No, I wouldn't think a blowout. I don't think the Bulldogs can afford that. They've got to be more competitive than that. I mean, if you're a finals team, you can't be getting smashed to pieces. But the great thing about Collingwood is they can play any style of game. Whatever style you want to play, they can play it better than you can. So I wouldn't fear any style of game that they come up against. I just think they're too good.
Here at Better, we're playing nearest the pin with West Coast games now. So at the Brisbane West Coast, marginal better effort last week against the Saints. But do you think they can get within 30 or 40? Or do you think it might be tighter than that like last week?
Oh, they were very good last week. I love the effort that they put in. Different all of a sudden when you've got to travel and you've got to back it up. Can they get within 30 points or closer? I was thinking more like 75, Dicko. So
okay.
Perhaps I'm leaning the other way.
I've been known to over club here or there, but I was under clubbing that one, 30 or 40. But we're obviously going with Brizzy on that one. What about the Giants and Hawks? Another nearest the pin. The Hawks I tipped last week. I'm certainly not doing it this week. I'm going with the Giants.
Yeah, they lack a little bit of composure, particularly down back without Sicily, the Hawks. And the Giants all of a sudden have got a spring in their step. They're on a roll. They're starting to win games. They've got their eyes on the top 8. There's no reason why they can't keep going. So you'd have to think that they would be heavily favoured to win that one at home. And
this is the interesting game, the Saints and Melbourne. So Saints got the scare last week in Perth. Melbourne in Alice Springs, a defeat. The query for me with the Saints is they've only taken a mark inside 50 16% of the time. So once they get it in, they're ranked 18th in the comp. They just can't get a mark inside 50. And then on the flip side with Melbourne, they've lost the contested possession count week after week. So their inside game's not as strong as you think. So where are you leaning with this one?
It's a tough game. Both of them are coming off pretty ordinary performances, I think, last week. And both of them do have problems scoring through different methods. So it's a little bit of a flip of the coin. The interesting thing is 4th v 5th. So all of a sudden, St Kilda, if they want a top 4 spot, this is the perfect opportunity. Are they playing well enough to be a top 4 team? Maybe not. But having said that, neither are Melbourne. So this is the top 4 spot that is definitely up for grabs. And it's a really, really tough game, this one. I'm without any confidence whatsoever, Dicko, I'm leaning Melbourne's way, but the loss of Fritsch does not help.
Yeah, I'm leaning with Melbourne as well. Just another stat for you because I'm on a stats roll here at the moment. 19% of one-on-one contests in defensive half in terms of Melbourne. So they're strong. So they don't let you mark the pill. And I said Saints haven't marked it there, only 16% of the time. So May and Lever are massive in this one at stopping the flow for the Saints. So I'm going with Melbourne as well. Port and Gold Coast, I'm heading over to Adelaide for this one. Looking forward to this. This is not a nearest to pin one, but I just can't see the Bakers dozen 13 getting upset here with Gold Coast.
No, but I do expect a response because they have copped it big time during the week. And I think if the players are serious, what they say about Stuart Dew and the fact that they support him, well, they need to support him through effort. And I expect to see a much better effort from the Suns this week. Mind you, I still think Port will win comfortably. They're a very, very good team. They didn't play particularly well last week, found a way out, albeit after the siren. But at home, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one for the Suns.
Well, I'm going to pose a question before we get to our review on Monday. If they have a massive loss in Adelaide, Dew's come out swinging and said, you know, the journos have got it wrong. I'm the man, and he's been backed up by the chairman. Do you believe the heat comes on massively after this one if there's a big defeat?
Oh, the heat's already there, Dicko.
No, but I mean, the tipping point.
I can't see them making any changes before the end of the season. It would be pointless, I think, particularly after just coming out and saying this is what we're doing. So I wouldn't expect anything to change.
All right. Geelong and North, pretty straightforward one in this one. Do they get within 30, North Melbourne?
Well, that'd be a good result for them. So it's down at GMHBA. One of the games we just pencil in as a win for the Cats. Although, you know, they haven't been scoring as freely as they'd like either. But you've just got to think they've got far too many guns for North and should win comfortably.
Essendon and Adelaide's an interesting game too. So They love to control the ball, Essendon. They're taking the most marks per game, 102. Clearly the number one team in the comp. And then Adelaide scored 100 points 6+ times this season. So they can score heavily as well. I thought this was flip of the coin. But Essendon showed last week how good they are.
Two teams, 7th and 8th, probably harbouring ambition of still finishing in the top 4. Certainly Adelaide are well poised with their percentage to do that if they can win this one. They've got to start winning away from home, the Crows, if they're going to be a genuine contender in 2023. But the Bombers were very, very good. I mean, they led to the final siren last week and still got beaten. So that would have stung them. Can they back it up again now? That remains to be seen. So I'm with you. Tight game, a great game. I've been a Crows fan all year with the way they're playing, and I'm going to stick with them.
Okay, I'm going with Essendon. So first one we disagree on. That's incredible. You got a fever? Are you all right? Final game, Fremantle and Carlton. Number one set shot team in the comp, Freo at 70%, which is pretty handy. Jai Miss obviously contributing to that one. Carlton, though, this is a chance for them to back it up.
It is. I don't know what to make of the Dockers, honestly. Just when you've written them off, they play a good game. Then when you jump back on, they go back to being very, very ordinary. They've got some injury problems, but they're at home against the Blues. You know, so what do we expect from the Blues? Are they getting on a roll? Are they going to make a late charge? Which way did you tip in this game?
I'm on Carlton. I'm back on.
You're Carlton.
I'm Carlton.
Okay, well then I'll go the Dockers because that gives me a little bit of confidence knowing that you couldn't hit a dartboard from 2 paces.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And now let's just get the dartboard up because I'm going to play a little game with your unders and overs. So I reckon the Port line minus 29.5 is massive unders. I think that's going to be a big margin against Gold Coast. So I reckon the unders there for the punters out there. What are you thinking this weekend? You got an over or under?
I've got the big overs, and I know I haven't tipped them, but St Kilda are the big overs. There's no way now they should be $2.65 and Melbourne $1.49, $1.50. That just doesn't make sense. Two teams that are basically fighting for that 4th spot, 4th v 5th at Marvel Stadium. No Fritsch for the Dees. They're struggling to kick a score. Gee, this is going to be a close one. I was blown away when I saw how lopsided the betting was. So I think, not that I'm tipping the Saints, but boy, they are the overs.
Yeah, nice little clip for the traders there. Better. Well done, Keith.
All
right, that's our Thursday wrap. Look forward to the game, and we'll catch you next week, Chief, on Monday. Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports Lab.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, Call the number on the screen or visit the website.